people.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to say. I'm looking it up while we're sitting here. It's like 110,000 people in Boulder, and the population of LA County is 10 million people.
It's at least. Plus Mexicans. You got to count Mexicans, and then you got to count everybody's connected to all the other counties around it. It's not like there's some border.
Yeah.
You just drive around.
That's exactly right. So it is. The first time I visited Oklahoma, I had this. I was in Oklahoma for doing a radio show.
Southern California, look at that, 23.77 million.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in Oklahoma, and I'm walking down the street, and the first thing that, and just some lady and I catch eyes. Now, in LA, you're from LA, you look away, right? You don't want to get stabbed. So if you catch eyes with somebody, it's rude. You don't catch eyes with people in LA. And I'm walking down the street, we catch eyes, the lady goes, "How are you?" I called my father. I was like, where am I? What's going on here? Like, this is not regular. But I do think that there is something to the idea that if you have too many people in too small a space, we're all up in each other's business so much that it's very hard to say to people, okay, liberty, stay away from one another, leave each other alone. It's like, yeah, but he lives next door and he's a jackass. Hate that guy. Because he's like right next to you. Right. In Oklahoma, the guy next to you is 3 miles down the road.
There's that, and there's also, it's been replicated in rat population density studies, that you get more mental illness, you get more weird aggressive behavior when they stack rats in these cubicles and then just jam them closer and closer together. And that's exactly what's happening with people. It's what Manhattan is famous for. I mean, I enjoy visiting Manhattan, and every time I'm there, I'm always like, no, I can't live here.
Oh,
There's just too many humans.
I was there last week, and I like the sky, so you can't actually see the sky in Manhattan, right? I mean, you just see these brick buildings, 25 stories high. And I noticed that we were walking past the store, and there was a shirt on sale, and the shirt's entire text was F you effing F. And I thought, only in New York could you sell this, right? I mean, you try to take this anywhere else, and people would have been like, wait, what now? But New York, I'm sure that's a bestseller. That's why, honestly, I think it's one of the reasons why Trump won, is because he's basically just a guy from New York. He's like a taxi driver from New York who's really, really wealthy. And, he does what a taxi driver from New York would do if you're really, really wealthy. He marries models and builds gold toilets and all this kind of stuff. And people in the rest of the country actually take that language seriously. So when he says stuff like, yeah, we're going to bomb the shit out of them, people in New York are like, yeah, that's what we do, And people in Oklahoma are like, wow, he's serious. Like, that's actually going to happen. And it's like, probably not. Probably that's just how people from New York kind of talk. Yeah. We saw this last week, right? He was talking about the cops, and he was saying this thing about
covering their heads.
Yeah, covering and he's talking like a Long Islander. He's talking about like, they throw them in the back of the paddy wagon, and we do all the, and you don't put your head on the. It's fine. They bump their head. They just killed someone. And so the entire media went, how dare he? He's talking about how cops should rough people up. Listen, is it appropriate for the president of the United States to talk like that about treatment of suspects? No. Are we supposed to take this super seriously? Like this is like Trump is actually recommending a policy change with regard to.
He's working the room.
That's what he does. He works the room. He's a New York real estate guy who works the room. And more than anything else, if you understand New York and you understand LA, you understand Trump. He's not a giant mystery, right? He's just any other reality TV star. He's a marketing image guy. I mean, that's what he does. Like, he's not even that great at real estate. He puts his name on the side. He brands himself. He puts his name on the side of buildings. They pay him not to be involved in the real estate business so they can put Trump on the side of his hotels. Great. I mean, that's what he does. That's why I'm kind of shocked that he's kind of crappy at the imaging as far as being a president. You'd imagine that he would be better at this part of it, at least.
I just think he didn't understand the volume of hate that was going to come his way, and I think he's such an egomaniac, he has a hard time dealing with it. He has a hard time, separating, and that's one of the things that I've read about him, that he's getting better at getting away from the comments and not reading comments on Twitter, but he fucking blocks people.
Yeah.
And so, you know about that.
Somebody sued him, yeah.
Well, there's a group of people suing him, and now they're actually starting to rule against public officials, people who are in the public light, being able to block citizens and having their own opinion about what this person's doing or not doing. So then you have to say, well, are you allowed to be vulgar towards the president? I mean, how far does that go? I mean, what are you allowed to say?
I mean, my view is you should be able to say whatever the hell you want about anybody, but
you can't threaten them.
Well, you can't threaten them, obviously, right? but it does go more to the level of pettiness. He's the most powerful man on the planet, and he's busy blocking people on Twitter at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, like, that whole Joe Scarborough, and what is it?
Police reported ahead.
Mika Brzezinski,
was
the bloody face thing.
He was saying that this is the fucking president. He's saying she showed up with bloody scars, or she was bleeding from her recent facelift.
Exactly. And first of all, it turns out that it probably wasn't true. But
of course it wasn't true.
I mean,
who the fuck goes out when you're bleeding?
I agree with you. I agree with you. But I wrote a piece about in National Review about this. You say that the level of hatred directed toward Trump is warping Trump. I think that it's also warping some people on my side of the aisle who are so interested in the fight, that they're less interested in advancing the policies that I'd like to see achieved. So I think there's a whole group of people where, let's say that Trump would just resign tomorrow. He'd say, you know what, I've had it, screw it, I'm out. And Mike Pence becomes president. And then Mike Pence proceeds to do all the things conservatives want him to do. We get tax reform, and we limit immigration, and we'll do all of these things. But he does not tweet about Mika Brzezinski's bloody face. I think there's a whole group of people on the right who'd be pissed.
They'd miss it.
I think that, right. I think
especially now, because it's fun.
What they want is somebody who pisses off the left more than beats the left.
Right.
Pisses them off. If you piss off the left, I think Obama sort of trolled some of the right into insanity. I think there are a lot of people on our side where it's like, this jerk. He keeps saying things just to piss us off. And Obama did do some of that. And so Trump is kind of a Twitter troll. And so he does the same thing. We're like, yeah, that's awesome. Like 2 days ago, Trump, or yesterday, there was a report that Trump said that he thinks the White House is shabby. Now, I can say, as somebody on the conservative right my entire life, if Obama said that, we would not let him forget that for 1,000 years. That the White House is shabby. I mean, it's an ass move to say that the people's house is shabby. First of all, it's a mansion, right? Like, and second of all, this is the most iconic building on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And, oh, it's shabby.
How was it shabby? What was he saying it was shabby?
He said they were asking him why he visits.
Police reported ahead.
Of course, is so much. And he said, "Oh, because my golf courses are nicer because the White House is shabby." But there are people on the right who are like, "Fine, it's funny. Like, you know, at least he's trolling the left. At least it's ticking them off." And it's like, guys, ticking off the left is not a substitute for defeating the left if you actually care about defeating the left. Like, this is one of the things that drives me nuts because my life goal has been to promulgate particular ideas, not just to piss off the left. But I think that in the fight, there are a lot of people who have fallen into the trap of thinking these two things are identical, right? You piss off the left, that means you're winning. It's like, no, pissing off the left may be part of it, but that's not how you win. You win by saying things that are true, and if they get pissed, they get pissed.
Well, my good friend Bill Burr did this piece about Obama back when Obama was mocking Trump and saying the one thing that I am that you'll never be is the president of the United States. The crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
Remember when he did
that?
that?
Oh, yeah.
And Obama was saying this on stage, and you see Trump in the audience boiling with his, big frog double chin, just sitting there eating it all, and that fucking stuck in his craw.
There's a whole story that came out from BuzzFeed about his interaction with a guy named McKay Coppins, a reporter for BuzzFeed, in which McKay was basically like saying to Trump, like, you're a joke, you're not going to run. I think Trump ran just because he was sick of people telling him that he wasn't going to be president. So I really think that's half of what drives him. That doesn't mean that he can't do good things. I hope he does do good things. He's the president. I want every president to do things I like, but he's going to have to get it under control a little bit because, I mean, he was willing to keep the mooch. I mean, the mooch was only ousted because of John Kelly, and the mooch is
What did the mooch say? What was his? It was about Steve Bannon sucking his own cock.
Yeah, that's exactly right. About him performing acts of.
Why would he think that he could say that once he's in the office? I mean,
first of all, why would he think that Steve Bannon could even possibly do that? I mean, Bannon's not that flexible. I know Steve. That's not something in Steve's repertoire.
A giant unit, but it doesn't matter. Just the idea that he would think. I mean, he must be emboldened by the fact that Trump has said so many outrageous things.
Well, I mean, there were reports from the New York Post that Trump liked it. That all that happened is that there was so much blowback that he had to replace Kelly, and he puts Kelly in there, and Kelly's like, you can't do this.
Right.
And Trump's like, okay, fine.
But doesn't it seem more crazy to fire a guy after 10 days than it does to sit him down and say, hey, man, don't say that again.
You would think that's what, right.
Let's move forward.
That's what they should have done the next day.
in 3.7 miles. Take exit 82, State Route 124, Harwich, Brewster, Old exit 10. In 1 mile, exit right to exit 82, State Route 124, Harwich, Brewster, hold exit 10. Then keep right. Exit right to exit 82, State Route 124, Harwich, Brewster, hold exit 10. Then keep right to State Route 124. Keep right to State Route 124. In 1.2 miles, turn left on State Route 39. In 1,000 feet, turn left on State Route 39. Turn left on State Route 39.
right. We already know
In
what it
700
is.
feet, turn right on Bank Street. Turn right on Bank Street. In 1 mile, turn right on Mile Street. In 1,000 feet, turn right.
Yes, right.
Turn right on Mile Street. You've arrived at your destination.